I was born and raised in Brooklyn. My father was a security guard for over 32 years, with nothing to show for it. I've spent years on the ground floor refining my skills, in hopes that one day I'd make enough to take care of my old man. All I needed was a chance.
I'm gonna make you rich.
What?
You are going to work for my competition.
This is stealing trade secrets.
This is the opportunity you've been waiting for, because you want to know how the other half lives.
Morning. We're reinventing you.
Let it go. Weak ass shit.
Weak ass shit.
Weak.
No.
Weak.
This is, it's not even shit. It's weeping diarrhea. That's what it is.
Oh, watery soup ass.
It is watery and diluted as you can get for a film. Yeah.
Clear ass shit you giving me and telling me it's soup.
There ain't nothing in that soup.
Motherfucker, this ain't got no flavor whatsoever.
It's not even broth. It's just water.
It's just water.
Yeah.
That's it.
You can't even call it soup. Soup contains something. This does not. Yeah.
Oh, watered down ass so-called techno thriller.
Some trifling ass thriller for your ass right here.
Yeah, ain't no thrillers in this techno whatsoever at all, man.
They can't afford they can't even afford the letters.
You don't put this shit out in the movie theater and charge people for this.
It is the disgrace, man. This movie's about people ripping each other off. This film fucking ripped us off. That's exactly what it did. It did its job well.
Hell yeah, it did.
Well, man, the things we do for our Spill audience, boy.
Suffering.
Man.
Let me tell you something. This is weak because I don't know where to go from, man. Everything you've seen before, just add water.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Dilute that shit to hell, man.
Instant thriller, yeah.
I don't know if you want to talk about this so-called espionage story, corporate espionage. I don't want to know if you want to talk about this lame-ass love subplot that's in here.
Is that what they call it, love?
I love to hate this shit.
Yeah,
love
don't
to
worry.
talk about how much I hate this shit.
Don't worry. That's the one thing I'm getting at is the love to fucking hate it. Yeah.
And movies can get by with weak-ass plots, man. We see it all the time. It all the time. Every week.
Yeah.
But you know what? You got people who come in here and act like they give a shit about their job.
You know what? You're right. And it's so sad to see this movie. Like, honestly, try to think it has something to say. You know, all I thought was like, that's the sad thing. It's like, wow, this movie, they're really going out of their way to try to film something and have something in this script that amounts to absolutely nothing. It's like some director was like really trying to do his best to be like Christopher Nolan, you know, as far as just setting up all these situations, yet he had absolutely no imagination where to take it.
Well, the problem is that everything in this, it's one thing to be contrived, but it's another thing to be contrived and just stupid.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
absolutely stupid.
This story here, right from the very beginning, doesn't make any sense. And what I'm saying is about people give a shit about what they do. Your leads here, this is so weak that they look like they are falling asleep while they say their lines. They have nothing to try to carry this movie with as far as personality, interest, charisma at all. My man right here, what's his name? Liam Hemsworth?
Is that your man?
Boy.
That kid who can't ever get a break?
I tell you something. This boy right here, if that name sounds familiar, you're probably thinking about that last name, Hemsworth.
Yeah.
That's because you've heard of what's his brother's name? Thor?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's who's actor that plays Thor?
That kid is his brother
Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth plays Thor. Mm-hmm. Let me tell this boy, this other Hemsworth boy right here. Look, your brother is on screen playing a god.
It's his first lead.
Commanding presence.
Yeah.
Getting on the screen and saying, "Where art thou, earth, for I am Thor." You know, and this boy come in this movie, and he just going to the movie. I don't know.
It's just he's done through every other forgettable role he's played recently.
I'm in trouble.
You remember this kid was also in Expendables 2, right?
I didn't see him in that.
Oh, you didn't see him in that? Oh, okay. It's about as memorable as this film.
Well, that's the thing here, man. He act like your brother's out there acting circles around your ass, and here you acting like you don't give a shit. Mm-hmm. I mean, come on, man.
Well, he's hoping, you know, like I said, it's one of those things where if somebody were to tell you the premise of it, it may sound interesting, you know. And I have this feeling because, I mean, not only him, I'm more embarrassed about just Harrison Ford being in this movie, which sure, he hasn't been really turning out like, great movies like he used to, but still on a caliber of Harrison Ford and of course, Commissioner Gordon himself.
Well, see, man,
it's embarrassing. I'm wondering, like, are these guys doing a favor
Harrison
for this director?
Ford already said, I don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
But Harrison Ford has earned the right to not give a shit.
Yeah.
He's been Indiana Jones, and not alone by he says, I'm not going out and doing any movies unless you pay me enough. And even then,
he's made his mark.
Oh yeah, and even then he says, I just want to come shoot this movie. I want to go back and smoke some weed.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Exactly.
Now in this, you're right. It sounds like it's interesting because I'm always in for a good corporate thriller. Mm-hmm. And I watched the trailer for this, and when they had two big stars in there like Harrison Ford and Gary Oldman, I'm thinking to myself, all right, they kind of got me hooked. You see some dialogue with them in the movie, but when you actually watch the movie just it just steps off the wrong foot retarded. I mean, Liam Hemsworth, he works at a corporation where his boss, played by Gary Oldman, lets him go. Even though this kid is bright, he knows how to make a pitch. They still let him go, but you know what? Liam Hemsworth, he leaves and he tells his friends, hey, you know what? I still got my boss's credit card. Mm-hmm. So, you know what? Let's go spend $16,000 on drinks.
Yeah.
Are you fucking stupid?
Let's go fuck these guys who fucked me.
Yeah.
Even though I have their credit card with all their information, knowing that this shit is going to trace back to me.
The next day,
a
black truck pulls up, a big old muscle man gets out and says, get your ass in the car.
I know. You think a guy who has all this knowledge about creating the next smartphone, like crazy ass technology for the next smartphone, like almost Lucius Fox technology for the next smartphone, would know better than to go and spend somebody's credit card.
He's about to make the next smartphone, and yet he's so dumb.
Yeah, he is.
You stupid fuck. But then his boss, Gary Oldman, as I mentioned, he brings him in and says, hey, boy, you know what? What were you thinking?
Yeah.
That's my fucking credit card. What are you thinking?
Yeah, you're going to pay now.
He says, and look.
Out your ass.
And so he says, listen, I'm not going to. I could prosecute you.
Oh, yeah.
To the
I
extent
could burn
to
you.
The full extent of the law, but you know what I want you to do? I got some use for you, kid. And I'm going to pay you well for it. I'm going to give you a sum of over $1 million, about $1.5 million when you add up his offer.
Mm-hmm.
He says, you'll get this money, but first, you got to do a little something for me. Zip. No,
a little something.
A little something.
Get on your hands and knees.
Put this leather on and bend over, bitch. Now he says, my competition out there, my former partner, who he thinks that he's gonna pull one over on me, but what I want you to do is I want you to go and find out what technology he has going on. I want you to go undercover for me and get some juicy secrets for me.
Way under the covers.
Yeah. Of course, this other partner is played by Harrison Ford, and you can see what's gonna go on here if you look at the trailer. He gets in there. He starts to get discovered here and there, and he's at odds with himself. He wants to, it's the point where he wants to get out because things are getting a little too rough,
getting a little too hairy.
Yeah, they start. His dad is played by Richard Dreyfuss, who's sick. He's always walking around with an oxygen tank and sick and shit. And he's like, they say, hey, look, we got your dad on tape right here. We watching him all day. We're gonna kill you if you don't do what we want you to do. Oh yeah. And I noticed you like to fuck one of our employees,
right?
By the lovely Amber Heard.
Amber Heard.
So he's got feelings in this. He's scared for his father, scared for his own ass. Mm-hmm. It should be good, right?
A little bit.
A little bit, but no.
A tiny bit, no. Fuck no. And, it's funny that we just got done watching Jobs, the Steve Jobs movie. And one of my issues with that film was that the fact that they just, they fumbled the ball in bringing something interesting to that story, which is, the rivalry between him and Bill Gates. That is exactly what this movie tried to do, yet they took it to full retard level, where not only do you see these guys who have apparently they've been rivals their whole life, apparently. Their relationship is mirroring Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, but this story gets to such an epic, ridiculous level of these guys going toe to toe to the point where one of the guys is killing people.
That's what I'm
murdering people to get information about a new telephone. telephone. I mean,
that must be some good shit.
No shit. I was like, wow, guys, you guys are taking this to epic sci-fi level of ridiculousness, you know?
No matter how much Apple and Samsung go at each other, ain't nobody gonna die in the process.
It's the information isn't all that important anymore. Especially when these two guys in this fictional world with these fictional companies live in a world that obviously everyone's still using Apple computers. All these guys are talking about their technology, how it's like revolutionized the world and everything. Yet all these motherfuckers own an Apple laptop or are using an Apple iPhone.
It's funny. They work for one of the biggest communication companies out there in this movie.
Yeah.
Acura or whatever it is. Yeah. Ain't nobody got an Acura phone.
Nobody.
Ain't nobody got an Acura laptop. They all got fucking Apple.
It's all Apple. I mean, you see a big, like, wide shot of the Apple computer right in your face. I'm like, all right, Apple must have just paid for half of this movie or something. I don't get it.
Yet, how about having... you're one of these guys. You run this company. You got all kind of secrets on your laptop, but yet you have a party where you leave your door open and you just let some dude just wander into your office and just look around.
That's what I love about this movie. There's so many ridiculous moments like that, especially when you realize that Harrison Ford's company owns like one of those vaults that you saw in Avengers where they had all their technology on display with a huge gate in front of it.
That motherfucker got shield at his house.
Shield. I mean, it's insane where I'm like, all this for a telephone? Really?
Like, God, yeah, come on, man.
It is.
Come on.
It just gets to a point where you as an audience member going, okay, look, I don't know all that much about telephones, but I know it would never get to this ridiculous amount of just retardedness where you got people chasing each other trying to get information. I mean, you have a sliding glass window. Your back window is a huge monitor all of a sudden for people like looking in on you.
Yeah, just ridiculous shit, man. I'm telling you, some Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. type shit.
It is.
And I like the way they tell my man, what's his name, Liam Hemsworth. They say, hey. When he's going undercover to test him at Harrison Ford's company, when he comes in, they say, all right, well, you know what? You got 72 hours to develop this whole new technology. And what does he do? He calls a friend, and they go to a bar. They go to a bar where they're testing this shit out in the open.
Out in the open.
A fucking bar.
I know. And the sad thing, the crazy thing about that scene is that this guy who is creating all this technology, for some strange reason, after pulling this incredible feat of technology with a phone, cannot find a fucking job to save his life. This guy is like, hey, man, you think you can put in a good word for me at the company since you're using all of my ideas to help your guys figure out who's stealing for what from who?
I didn't do anything but create a whole new technology in the span of one beer at a fucking bar for you.
I felt like, wow, this guy should have been cast as a black guy. Yeah, let alone, he should have been Lucius Fox there. Like, just, hey, I have all this technology. Yeah, I have all this technology, and nobody's giving me any damn credit, even though I know that I'm giving you all this to impress your bosses at your new job.
I mean, motherfucker didn't do shit.
No.
Called his friend and said, meet me at the bar and make my shit for me so I can get my job.
Yeah, he's like, look what I can do without even plugging in that TV right up there. Isn't that awesome, dude? Yeah, that's great, man. Thanks for helping me out, bro. All right, see you later, dude. Give me a call if you need a trash man or something to help you out at the office.
And we're talking about not just some cool technology. We're talking about some futuristic Tron shit.
Oh yeah,
that he put.
No, this shit. I'm surprised that the thing didn't like. If you've got a broken leg or something like an Elysium, where this phone just reconstructs your entire body. Yeah, fixes your face up when it blows up. Yeah,
it doesn't cause cancer. Not only does it not cause cancer, but it cures cancer.
No shit.
God, stupid shit. And furthermore, all right, maybe you don't know all about technology. You go in there and they can pull one over on you. Maybe you just say, all that stuff, that's above my head. I can buy it.
Yeah.
But I love this love story where Amber Heard is a bitch to Liam Hemsworth. I mean, a bitch to him throughout half the movie. And then when he finally does something to her, she says, you know what? I was falling for you because you weren't like other guys. I was like, no, No, you didn't like him because he was like other guys. You just got through calling this dude. You said, you know what? You're a bridge and tunnel guy. I was slumming it with you. Where the fuck did this revelation come from?
If I had to argue one thing about this movie with you, it would be this quote-unquote love story. Look, she treated him like the thing he was, a dumb slut. All right? He met her. She met him in a club. She wanted to fuck. And that's exactly what she did. That's all she did. She didn't do anything wrong. You know,
I ain't saying she did anything wrong. I'm just saying she had that attitude up to a point where, believe me, I have nothing wrong with her. I'm not making this some woman type thing. Oh, women,
no, I know.
No, nothing like that. I'm just saying her writing was like, oh, all of a sudden you're gonna say you chose him. You chose him to fuck, and that's it. You didn't fall for him when we saw this at the beginning.
But the thing is that you realize from the get-go what actually he's doing now that he's trying to, steal all this technology. I mean, he is using her as soon as they accidentally meet. What a coinkydink.
Oh, I know. Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden, it's like, I like you to meet somebody else who works at the company that I do. And, shit.
Do you two know each other?
Yeah. And all of a sudden, it's Amber Heard because why not?
And I love the way people just leave personal information out. I mean, they got all this technology that's going to change the world shrouded in secrecy. And Amber Heard conveniently leaves her password for her computer on her keychain.
On her keychain. And I'm
stupid shit.
And wow. And on an Apple computer. Wait a minute. I just saw this crazy ass Avengers technology, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. shit. And why aren't all the employees using that to keep? Why are you bringing home your laptop with all this vital information? Number one.
You got a fucking guy you known for 24 hours. You brought him in the house, left him alone with your computer, along with your purse, which happens to contain your keychain with your fucking password on it. And stupid fucks.
And you know what? They could have made that scene make sense knowing what they tell you at the end, but they don't even bother to do that. And I'm like, wow, that would have been a great way to cover your stupidity. Yet this is so swimming in stupidity. It's frustrating. I've never squirmed so much the last half of this film, just waiting for it to be over because you see everything so telegraphed. It's so cliche. It's so badly cliched.
Yeah.
And just frustrating to watch with characters you don't care about, you don't like, you don't get it, and you want to leave.
And see, people, you might not notice because it's kind of moving a little bit slow. So you might not notice how horrible this movie is until you walk out and you just start piecing shit together. Now, when I was watching the movie, I was like, that doesn't make sense. This is dumb right here.
Yeah.
But it might be a slow burn for some people. You might be in your car and you might be like, wait a minute.
Oh, see, no, that was me. I wish I could have been in the car when I was watching the movie, but was sitting there, none of it made sense. But there was just nothing appealing about the movie. It was trying to be a big boy movie, and it failed.
And didn't have the skills to do it at all.
No skills at all.
The only thing that I tell you what they really tried to save this movie on, or put the strength of this movie on. It was fucking Liam Hemsworth and his looks, because I can't tell you how many times they blatantly had this motherfucker walking around with no shirt on. Now, I get it, all right? I mean, I know I've been made fun of for walking around with my shirt off. I want to take my shirt off right now.
But you don't have cameras in there. We're not trying to sell you to the Hollywood movie-going community.
I mean, motherfucker went to, I remember he gets out the shower, and that's just a shot in real time of him walking into the bedroom, looking over his desk, bending over to get some shit off the table. I was like, come on. There's a part where he's sitting with Amber Heard in the kitchen, got a fucking tank top on.
Oh, I know. It's like, hey, look, if it works for my brother, it's going to work for me.
No, unless you got a goddamn hammer in your hand and you from a fucking world of gods.
I know.
Put your fucking shirt on.
Especially when you get scenes before all this happens of him taking off his shirt, of him hanging out with Harrison Ford and Gary Oldman. It's like, okay, the movie that this is trying to cater to, it doesn't make any sense to me, No, because you know who was in the theater when I went to go see it? Two other people, and guess what? They were both old white guys.
Shit, man, it's with me. There were three people in the screening I went in, and who was it? Three old white people.
Yeah, and you know what? They were there to see Harrison Ford and Gary Oldman, and that is it.
Yeah, and I will tell you this: they got it for about 5 minutes, because the only part I like in this movie is when Indiana Jones was going up against Commissioner Gordon.
Commissioner Gordon.
That's why I said Michael Jordan. Was going up against Commissioner Gordon. Gary Oldman and Harrison Ford, there's a part where they just pissed.
Yeah.
And they're just screaming at each other.
And they're going at it, and it's a good scene. I mean, because those guys can make shit into gold sometimes, yet they didn't have enough steam for this. I mean, and that's one of the sad things. I know that these guys took on this movie just so they could work with each other. I'm sure, just to go. All right, I'll star in your dumbass movie. I don't know. It's about cell phones. What? Wait, what? I get to be like Steve Jobs? I get to shave my head like Steve Jobs and look like him? All right, I guess kids like him. I guess I could do that.
Well, I tell you what, man. Harrison Ford, I was mad at him because he really did feel like he didn't give a shit until he had to do what he does in every movie where he gets mad. Get out.
That's what you're waiting for.
Get out.
That's the only thing to look forward to in this movie.
Sign it. You have taken credit for everything that you've created. Nothing! You arrogant bastard.
I took a brick device that everybody laughed at and turned it into the one thing that no one can do without. I earned my arrogance.
Yes, and none of that happens without me. You stood on my shoulders!
And now I'm standing on your neck.
You son, I got you.
Yeah, it's going to be a part in the movie where them jowls going to be going. But I was even more mad at Gary Oldman because every time Gary Oldman came on screen, I thought, this is going to be some good shit because he was really good.
Yeah.
But no, every time he left the screen, movie just crashed.
Oh, it did. And you're like, please don't. I don't want to hang out with Hemsworth and his shirtless body again. It's like there's nothing there.
Yeah, come on.
And I got something to say to the filmmakers, everyone involved. Fuck you. This is a fuck you movie. Fuck your phones.
People, this is bullshit.
People know this is bullshit. They have to know
come
this
on.
is bullshit.
Yeah. We have to tell you weren't even in the movie. The only people that don't know it's bullshit are those old white people that are going to see it.
I know. Those poor bastards that don't have a computer or Rotten Tomato or nothing.
Let me tell you something. Old white people out there, this is bullshit.
Please.
People, pass it on to the next old white person that you know.
Yeah.
Tell them not to do this.
When you're eating cold KFC in the afternoon with all your white friends, eating your grapes and cheese, tell them this is not the movie to see. Stay away from it. Avoid it at all costs.
Do a public service.
Yes.
Help an old white person today. Keep them away from Paranoia.
Keep drinking your mimosas. Stay home.
Keep drinking that pring juice.
I'm with the FBI's Criminal Investigation Division. Spying for Wyatt will land you in jail. Double-crossing Goddard will get you killed.
We recorded it all, every conversation between you and Wyatt. The kid knows too much.
Let's go for a ride.
You stood on my shoulders!
And now I'm standing on your neck.
Everything you said and did was a lie.
I'm gonna make this right. I'm gonna use what they taught me to destroy what they built.
We had good intel on this.
Where did you get that intel from, Nick?